you, Mr. Putin. All right, boys, we're going to war. And of course, by we, I mean my friends and I. You see, they don't actually know this yet. I performed a blood pact last night. They were asleep, of course, so they're not aware of this. They'll be hearing about it for the first time when I publish this, but they were going to learn sooner or later. We will be parachuting down into Kiev and helping the Ukrainian people defend their capital. Of course, the United States has said that they're not going to be getting involved in Ukraine right now. It looks like the U.S. is only going to be involved in this if and when this Russian invasion starts affecting NATO alliance states and territories. So we'll see what happens there. God, who saw this coming? I mean, where did this come from? I just don't see how anyone could have seen this coming. And I gotta own up. In a previous podcast episode, I did a Putin impression in which I did not claim that they were going to be invading Ukraine. In fact, during my Putin impression, I claimed, as pretending to be Putin, that we were just going to be having some fun with Ukraine. I didn't know that they were going to be invading them. So I own up to that. That's my bad. I did not call it the way that it ended up happening. Maybe I should have done better. As a journalist, I apologize. I should have done better, and I should have known that they were going to be attacking Ukraine in the largest state-on-state assault since World War II. I mean, cities are being bombed, houses and apartment buildings, homes are being destroyed. It's very, very sad. But my friends and I are going to get over there and do something about it. If Joe Biden will not commit to having U.S. soldiers feet on the ground in Ukraine, then let me tell you this, people of the world. I will be assisting Ukraine. I myself will be helping the people of Ukraine. I will be there in, I think, like 27 hours, approximately. My plane leaves later today, and I've got a layover in Italy. I might stop and get some pizza, but I will be there to help. You just stay on the lookout. If you see a giant flag being waved by a naked man with a beard, that is me. And that flag will be the Ukrainian flag because I stand with your people. I stand with you, Ukraine. Fuck Putin and fuck Russia. They can all die. I mean, except for the people in Moscow protesting the war. These people in Moscow protesting the war are being arrested because apparently, you can look this up, apparently, quote, spontaneous protests are illegal in Russia. Spontaneous protests. Isn't that pretty much the only kind of protest that ever gets anything done? Isn't that pretty much the only reason anyone would protest is if it's in a spontaneous manner because it's something urgent that they need to talk about? How do you outlaw spontaneous protests? What are you supposed to do? Like, register? You're supposed to assign, allotted time frames? Like these 3 people can protest from 12 to 2, and then the next 3 people can protest from 2 to 4. What's the point? If you're going to do it like that, I guess the point is to suppress the opinion of the people, which is what Russia likes to do, of course. So that makes sense now that I verbalize it, but it's still pretty messed up. The only way that I can see this ending anytime soon is if Putin just sort of disappears, other people in the government and former Russian generals and things like that, so many people are not with him on this. Like, he's being called a madman by his own club, like by his own people, people in on his side are saying that he's lost it. Grandpa Putin's lost his marbles again. He's going a little bit nuts. Come on, come back to the table, Grampy. Time to sit back down, eat your chicken nuggets. Don't worry, I cut them up into little pieces for you. It's okay. No, there's no one in the hallway. No, it's empty. There's nobody there. Just sit down for the love of God, Grandpa Putin. It's okay. My God, I mean, he's just gone nuts, apparently. So how do you deal with a man who's gone nuts like that? Someone in his position. Well, I mean, there's a number of things that could be done, but I will say this. As a man who claims to be a pacifist, I will say that I would never, ever recommend, call for, encourage, or even silently support the assassination of a head of state. I would never, ever suggest anything like that. That is just a horrible, violent, and immoral way to handle one's self. I don't think that murder is okay. I don't think that it would be appropriate for someone to hike up on a mountain with a sniper rifle and take him out through his living room window while he's eating breakfast in his palace. I don't think it would be allowable. It would not be morally permissible for someone to suggest that maybe the people of Russia should band together, pull Putin into the town square, and chop his head off with a dull fork. I don't have any part of me that feels good about the idea that somebody out there, not myself, of course, somebody out there might suggest that someone should light him on fire, or that maybe someone should obtain a medieval stretching rack, throw him on that thing, tear his limbs off, and then proceed to feed him to a wild boar. I do not have it in my heart to suggest such horrible things. And in fact, it would be a shame if someone were to suggest these things, because it would mean that we have stooped to his level. That being said, it is important to weigh our options, because people are dying. So just, wanted to put that out there, get everybody's opinions. I mean, personally, like I said, I would never suggest such things. I would never recommend that we sick rabid dogs on Putin. I would never suggest that. I never have, and I never will. So it's important that we get this out there for everyone to know. But let me tell you something, Mr. Putin. You send a couple bullets my way. You send a couple bullets my way, and you just see what happens. Because I swear to God, it'd be better than what's going on right now. Working 9-to-5s, coffee breaks, dying plants on the shelves. I mean, I'm working the best job I've had in my entire life, and I'm miserable. It sucks. I wake up at 6 a.m. at the latest. If I want to work out that day, I gotta wake up by 4:30. And I don't actually have any time to myself until 6 o'clock in the evening. And I get home at 6 o'clock and I gotta cook dinner. There's no time. There's no time in the day. So you go ahead and send some bullets my way, and I swear to God, we'll come for you. We're already coming for you. But the entire U.S. will come for you, and let me tell you something, son. We embarrassed the hell out of your grandfather, and we'll do the same to you. I dare you. I dare you to lay a finger on NATO territory. Go ahead and make my day, Putin. Go ahead. Seriously, please. At least something exciting would be going on. If the United States went to war and I were drafted, I mean, that'd be fun. I mean, that would be exciting. I mean, God, the past 2 years, the only emotions I've felt are annoyance and hatred. I mean, for God's sake, I mean, what I would give to feel something real, some fear, some adrenaline pumping through my veins, some life or death, fight or flight. I mean, give me something. Please. Have some bullets whizzing past my head. Make me feel alive again. But in all seriousness, I would not make a good draftee. So Uncle Sam, if you're listening, I would be more trouble than I'm worth. I guarantee you, I have very real problems with authority. Ask anybody I went to college with. I wake up late. I leave early. You know what I mean? I wouldn't stick around for the entire training sessions. When you're trying to teach me how to fire my rifle, I would be tweeting. You would have to send me home because I would disrespect one of the sergeants, and then we would get into a legal battle, and it's just not worth it. So you might as well move on to somebody else. But, I mean, we got to do something here. I mean, NATO is sending a bunch of troops into not Ukraine. So thank you, NATO. Thank you. NATO Response Force, everyone. Thank you for not helping anything. And President Biden is saying like, oh yeah, we vow to defend every inch of NATO territory. And yeah, but like that's not what's at stake here. The nation and country of Ukraine is at stake. And they need help, right? Are we not your ally? Are we not an ally of Ukraine? What are we doing? I know the whole like World War III, nuclear bombs, Russia. I mean, Putin has already said many times that if anyone interferes in him raping and ravaging Ukraine, that he will just fire off some nukes at anyone that tries to help Ukraine. And honestly, I think it's time he dies. I would never, of course, I would never suggest that he be killed. But I mean, Grandpa's getting old, you know, he might, who knows? Like he might just pass away of natural causes in the middle of the night. He might have a heart attack. I don't know. I wouldn't cry. I'll just say that. I would not be crying at his funeral. I probably wouldn't be invited at this rate. But seriously, I mean, I said it earlier. I mean, nothing has been going on here in the U.S. I mean, it's been so boring, and we're finally getting to a point where states are lifting their mask mandates. North Carolina is actually lifting their mask mandate today, on the day that I'm recording this, February 26th, which is great. I just went into a store without a mask on, and it felt so good. I felt so free. But is that really all it takes to make me feel free? Not having to wear something on my face? I mean, Jesus, what happened to us? Everything's just so boring nowadays. That's part of the reason why I'm itching to go to war with Russia. Because I just don't have anything going on. Anything, any small thing. I mean, even if it's just a crackhead attacking me with a knife as I'm walking out of Planet Fitness at 6 a.m. on a Friday. You know what I mean? And like trying to steal my car. And I'm getting fed up with all my coworkers from throughout the week. And I'm just annoyed at everyone around me because the person behind the desk was being, you know, just a absolute piece of garbage to their coworkers. And I'm over there at the leg press, just overhearing all this crap that they're dealing with from this jackass. And I get out of there and I'm just ready. You know, I'm ready to kill something. Just come at me. Come on. Bring it on. But every day I walk out and there's no crackhead. There's no one trying to hurt me. I'm itching for some conflict. I want to fight somebody. I mean, I've got this eye infection over here. I get styes regularly. I'm convinced they're from my dog. And I mean, people ask me about it and I have to lie. I have to lie about it just to make myself seem interesting. You know, like they're like, hey, is that a sty? Is that like an infection in your eyelid? I say, no, I got into a bar fight this past weekend. Because at least that sounds cool. Everything is just messed up. We have had just no changes of any real kind that helps anybody. We've just been down in the dumps for so long. Everything's broken. My toilet doesn't work. I took a crap the size of a mouse yesterday. I wiped my ass twice, and my toilet couldn't even handle that. For goodness sake. Can we get the landlord up here? I mean, can we fix this crap? So anyway, this Russian stuff is really, really messed up. Government officials in Russia are telling local news outlets there that they're not allowed to refer to this conflict as anything like negative. They're controlling the media outlets and threatening to shut them down if they use words like invasion, attack, or declaration of war, which of course, all three of those things are accurate assessments of what this is, but Putin doesn't want the Russian people to be seeing those words in the newspaper or on news TV programs. And there are some people who are calling social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram into question because they're, quote, allowing officials in the Russian government to use those platforms for pro-war propaganda and basically spreading misinformation to their people or painting it in a light that isn't exactly accurate. You know, like I just mentioned with the media outlets in Russia. Germany is actually trying to help a little bit more than the U.S. is. Germany is sending weapons into Ukraine for the people of Ukraine to fight back. And I gotta say, the people of Ukraine are doing a pretty good job. They're holding their own a little bit. I mean, so far, I saw some statistics about some like Russian losses, and they've lost hundreds of men, maybe thousands. A few hundred of them have been taken prisoner. They've lost like over 100 tanks, all kinds of heavy machinery and equipment. It's looking pretty good for Ukraine. Well, I mean, it's not looking good, but they're doing all right. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, my Ukrainian brothers and sisters and children and, non-binaries. I am proud of all of you. Keep it up. Show those fuckers who's boss. Show Putin who you really are. I mean, I would never suggest violence against a head of state. So you definitely shouldn't go burn his palace down. I don't think you should do that. You know, it's really tough to observe this. I've been sitting here in the U.S. and I have been just festering. Really, I've been getting very frustrated about it. I know I make jokes about it on these types of platforms here, but it's really angering. I know that a world war isn't going to help anybody, but I mean, damn it, we got to do something, right? But the United States of America, we got to do something. I think Joe Biden should do something. These sanctions, I don't think sanctions are really going to cut it. I don't think it's going to do anything. You know, I did see that the UEFA Association, and if you don't know what UEFA is, EUFA, it's basically a European soccer federation. And they told Russia that they can't hold the UEFA Champions League final this year anymore, like they were planning to. So maybe the soccer fans over there in Russia will kick into gear and do something about this. You know, not anything violent, of course. Nothing extreme. I don't think that you should take Putin hostage. I don't think that you should torture him day in and day out on live television in a basement at an undisclosed location. I don't think that you should bleed him a little bit every day and then waterboard him with his own blood. I don't think that you should slowly skin him and let his wounds heal until the point that you have skinned him alive entirely and he's still living to feel the pain. I don't think you should do any of these things. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, like I said, these would be terrible things to do and horrible things to suggest. So I have never and will never suggest any violence against any head of state. I just want to put that out there. I am a pacifist. That being said, Let's go to war, bitches. I hope you've enjoyed this. I don't think I have anything else to say, but it's been fun talking to you about world tragedies, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.